Hi, I'm Rashonda Cade. What is this? Real, raw, and random with Rashonda. So I did float therapy the other day. I really enjoyed it. If you're unfamiliar with float therapy, it's when you go and I spent an hour. You spend an hour floating in a huge pod filled with Epsom salts. Sounds weird. Very relaxing. So the place I went is called Float STL. I went to the Midtown one, and you have a float guide, which is who gives you all of your instructions. Oh my gosh, there were so many instructions. So you walk in and you take off your shoes. It's a place where you don't wear shoes. You can have your socks on though. I've been to a barefoot spa before, but you can have your socks on. And you can just sit and relax until it's your time to go back to your room. So each float experience, you're in your own room, and when you walk in the room, you need to be barefoot in the room. It's a wet room. It's not wet, but the room is wet where water can be and stuff. So you don't want to get your socks wet or whatever. I mean, you wear your socks and you walk in, but then I'm not making sense. Let me just tell you about my experience. So I go into the room and he gives me my float guide, gives me billions of directions, billions, felt like billions of them. And after he gave me all of the directions, I was like, sir, that was a lot of directions. And he said, I really just needed to remember three things: shower, float, shower, which was very good, which is what I did. So I'm in my own space and it's got a shower. It had one of those waterfall shower heads, which generally I don't like, but I do think they're good for washing your hair. And I definitely wanted to rinse my hair before getting into the float pod. They want you to shower and be free of all sorts of dirt and oils and things. So I rinsed my hair really well and I showered. And then the float thing is a pod. Apparently there are pools also, but I had a pod. If you remember Mork and Mindy, the TV show, and Mork had this egg thing that he basically lived in, it reminded me of that, except for it wasn't vertical, it was horizontal. And it was filled with like body temperature water and tons of Epsom salt. And it had a lid that you can close when you're in there. So I climbed in and I closed the lid, and then there's a button that you press to start your experience. And so you press the button, and the lights inside dim, and there's a little music that plays for a little bit, and then maybe about 10 minutes in, we'll say 7 minutes in, the music stops. You can hit a button and listen to music. You can hit a button and turn the lights on, but I didn't. I liked the enclosed silence and darkness. I thought it was very cool. So I'm just laying there and I'm floating in this warm water, but my hair was pulling my head back into the water some. And so my neck started hurting, and I remembered that my float guide, his name was Lawrence, that my float guide said that there's a neck pillow. Well, it's a halo pillow that's a round pillow with a hole in the middle, and like you put your head in the hole, and then it can help keep your head afloat. And I was like, okay, I need this so my neck doesn't hurt. But at that point, excuse me, I was very disoriented in the space. So I had to orient myself and find the light button and turn that on, and then find the halo pillow. So I found the halo pillow and put it on, and I turned my light off. Again, I was much more comfortable with the halo pillow, so I recommend just starting off with the pillow, particularly if you have a lot of hair that might weigh you down. I thought I was going to, really be like communing with God in the time and space, but it actually took a bit for my mind to still. And I don't know that it ever did. My mind is super busy, just super busy. There was a sign that said if you're a person with a very active mind, you might want to listen to the music, but my float guide recommended not listening to the music, so I didn't. I'm okay with my own thoughts, but I did. I stilled them and slowed them down. I wasn't in there like worried about stuff. I wasn't thinking about my to-do list or bills or anything like that, but there's just a lot of stuff happening in my brain almost always. But that slowed down some. I did some good thinking. Then when it's time to leave, when your session is over, music starts playing and the lights slowly come on. So I was like, "Oh, okay. It's time to get out." It was good. I would definitely do it again. I feel like I need to do it a few times to see what it's like, to see how I can get my mind to settle a little bit. It was very, very relaxing. My skin was very soft when I got out of there. My shoulders actually hurt a little bit later in the day, but I'm pretty sure that's because I spent a lot of the time just kind of with my arms out like this, and my arms were like, "Yeah, you don't do that very much." So I was using my muscles in a different sort of way. It wasn't because the the experience itself was taxing, but you know how you get in a pool and like you can do things that you don't normally do? I kind of did that. I mean, it's not big enough for you to swim around, but I did like do some stretching and some movement that I don't always feel like I'm able to do. So that was really good. I was freezing when I got out of my pod and I hit the regular air. I was very happy to jump into the shower. I put it on hot and got in, rinsed my hair really, really well. The amount of salt in there is extraordinary. At one point, I don't even remember how I got a little bit of water on my face while I was in the pod, but then I could like feel the water evaporating and like just a thing of salt just stuck to my face. So I got out, took a hot shower, rinsed my hair super, super well. I had done it I did about 10 two-strand twists, which is basically what I would have done before going swimming or something. So I left it in the twist, but rinsed it out really well, and then just slathered on some leave-in conditioner after I rinsed it out, so I wouldn't have any. My hair would have at least some moisturizer in it. The only thing that was stressful for me was the after the float experience part, because there was a sign on the door that said you needed to get out of your room 15 minutes after your float ends. I take long showers, so I was showering quickly and I was just like, how long has it been? I hadn't like I did have my phone in there, but I hadn't gone over to look at it. So I was stressed about being able to get out of there in 15 minutes. And so I told Lawrence, my float guide, that I loved the experience, but the 15 minutes stressed me out. And so then I started asking him questions about the timing of things, because once I got out of the pod, the music was still playing. Like as soon as the music started and as soon as the lights came up to signal that my float time was over, I got out. But the music still played for another couple of minutes. And then a couple of minutes after that, the pod started going into a cleaning cycle that you could hear. So I asked Lawrence how long the music plays, and he said 2 to 3 minutes. And then I asked him how much time elapsed between when the music stopped playing and when the pod starts its cleaning cycle, and he said maybe another couple minutes. So he said about 5 minutes elapsed between when the music starts and when the cleaning cycle starts. And so then I asked him how long the cleaning cycle lasts, and he said that's about 15 minutes. So that let me know from the music to when the cleaning cycle stops is 20 minutes, which is longer than 15 minutes, but I left while the cleaning cycle was going. So when I go again in the future, I'll know that I really have until the cleaning cycle stops to be able to do everything I need to do and get out of there. So that gave me some peace um, for the next time that I go. I recommend it. Give it a try. Do a new sort of self care if you've never done it. It says there are tons of benefits for your skin, for your mental clarity, for your productivity, for your creativity, for your muscles. I felt good and loose. You know how you feel after you have a massage? I felt similar to that. So that was really good. I'm definitely going to go again, and we'll see if that becomes part of my regular self-care routine. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. I'm Rashonda Cade. This is Real Raw and Random with Rashonda. Until next time.